Isn't she pretty? This is not an AI-generated photo. And in case you are curious, that was me in primary 1, messy hair, untidy uniform, and a big smile. No clue that my biggest gift would become the very thing I'll learn to hide for the next 33 years. As long as I could remember, I loved to talk. And I couldn't stand quiet moments. But I was not liked for it. My school report cards always read the same. Study well, active in sports, but a bit too talkative. And that last part, always underlined. I'm sure you can guess what my tiger mom reaction was. Headaches, embarrassment, lots of them. I was the curious kid who always asked weird questions. Who am I? Why was I created in this person's body? Why do I see the world through her eyes and not someone else? I could go on and on. My parents got tired with my challenging questions, and I didn't dare to ask any friends. I don't want them to think something was wrong with me. Don't let them in. Don't let them see. Be a good girl, you always have to be. Just like Elsa in Frozen, I was told to hide my talent, talking. So I followed the script. College, job, marriage, kids, life. Instead of being the girl with questions, I became the woman with checklists. I always reflect after any occasions. Did I talk too much? Did I annoy people? Those report cards comment from my childhood, they echo in my adult life. Except this time, they were not in a written form. They were just quietly shaping how I show up. At work, I operated in stealth mode. Talk less, agree more, avoid brainstorming sessions. I would pray hard. 你睇我唔到，你睇我唔到，你睇我唔到. That means you can't see me in Cantonese. But when I was called on to give an opinion, I would panic and just repeat what others has just said, like a shadow. Every time the meeting ended, I'll kick myself a little. I wanted to speak up, but I was so scared that I would talk too much, sound stupid, or just get it wrong. I once told a respected friend that I wanted to be a leader. He looked at me. You are not leadership material. That statement anchored itself in my mind. I believe it. I let it shape how I saw myself. Over time, I replaced my voice with achievement. I kept doing, not because I love it, but because I thought it made me deserving of approval, of love, of existence. That is a very quiet kind of pain. The kind that creeps in when you feel like you only matter when you are useful. Then came midlife. I remember sitting in my car after a long day at work. a master's degree, a dream job, 3 beautiful kids. All the boxes checked. But I stare at the steering wheel and cry out loud. Why do I still feel empty? What's missing? What's wrong with me? Turns out it wasn't just a crisis of age. It was a crisis of identity. Remember those weird questions I had as a child? They came rushing back, and I still didn't have the answers. No matter what I achieve, I still don't feel like belonging. Until that day. To be honest, I wasn't sure what exactly pushed me. Maybe it was the talkative little girl I had buried deep inside. Maybe she got tired of being quiet. One evening, I visited a public speaking club as a guest just to observe. But then they called on me to speak impromptu. I had no preparations. My heart raced, my hands shook. I walked off that stage feeling totally blur of what just happened. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I have said anything of value or I even made any sense at all. Then out of nowhere, I was voted the best speakers. My first thought, wait, what? For real? I was thinking, they are either really nice or desperately trying to rope me into signing up as a member. In the days after, I kept thinking about that moment. Not that moment I got best speaker, okay? That was nice, and I like it. What I meant was the moment something inside me switched on. Like all the dots finally connected. I had to tell someone I thought I was going crazy. So I told my mentor, and she said something I'll never forget. That version of you on stage, confident, expressive, energized, wasn't someone new. That was the real you. The versions you've been hiding for years. I literally got goosebumps when I heard it. That was the biggest realizations of my life. Here's something I have rediscovered about myself, even though it's a bit uneasy to admit. I love to be the center of attention. I enjoy being in the spotlight, but not to shine alone, but to use the spotlight to speak, connect, and hopefully inspire. That little girl inside me, she never wanted to hide. She just wanted to be seen. That felt great, and it felt like home. Like a child tasting sweetness for the first time, I wanted more. So I joined the club. I kept showing up, I kept speaking, and collected more best speakers. I seized every chance I could to talk. I became more expressive at work. And then, after 18 years in stealth mode in the company, I gave my very first opening speech in front of 200 international delegates. Me, on stage? Who would have guessed? I even started coaching teenagers voluntarily. That's how far I've come. The more I spoke, the happier I felt. The more I show up as me, the more motivated I became. And it turns out there is science behind that. Research shows that being true to yourself helps build resilience and improve well-being over time. One study in Frontiers in Neurology found that people who felt more authentic will experience less stress and better mental health after tough events. The article also mentions that authentic people tend to stay steady. They stick to their values even when life gets hard. Sounds good. But then people started telling me something didn't sit well with me. When you are presenting, it's not about you. It's all about your audience. I couldn't understand that. Sure, the audience matter, but why can't I focus on myself? But being someone who is trained to fit in and do things right, I complied. I tried that way. But eventually, I stopped feeling like me when I spoke. I was merely performing, not connecting. One of my biggest struggles has always been this need to fit in. I have spent so much time to make sure people like me, trying to be normal, and not to stand out too much. Don't be a clown. I would warn myself every time before I enter any occasions. I didn't want to be seen as too talkative, too loud, or too much for anyone. The fear of being labeled the outlier was stronger than my desire to be real. I was stuck in this miserable tug of war with myself for a while. To be me, not to be me. To be me, not to be me. I have to accept who I am. The versions of me, truly happiest. So, I'm not a clown. I'm niche. And I'm not trying to be different. I'm different. And that's okay. And you know what? It feels so good to say that. Looking back, I realized that trying to fit in during my teenage years wasn't something I went through alone. It's something most of us can relate to. As teenagers, we're all trying to figure out who we are. And often that means trying to blend in with our peers, seeking validations and acceptance. But in doing so, I lost touch with who I was. And I know I wasn't alone in that. That's the one reason I feel so strongly about the importance of understanding ourselves from a young age. That is why I have made it part of my purpose to help teenagers reconnect with who they are before the world teaches them to forget. I focus on helping them find clarity to understanding themselves so they can express with confidence and intentions. One of the methods I found surprisingly powerful is to ask them to speak to themselves in the mirror. At first, they will feel awkward, even silly. But as they keep going, they begin to hear their own thoughts more clearly. A lot of people only start truly being themselves when they are much older. Like, they finally stop caring about what other things, or they have nothing left to lose, maybe after retirement. But who says we must wait that long? So I didn't wait. I went straight for it. Hugs and all. Just before last Christmas, I stood on a busy street, offered free hugs to strangers. No checklist, no script, just me, open, visible, and real. I only wished I've done it earlier. But of course, things happen for a reason and at the right timing. That moment didn't come from being fearless. It came from confidence. I no longer need permissions to show up as myself. The girl who once tried so hard to disappear, now inviting connections in broad daylight. If that's not coming full circle, I don't know what it is. Remember the same friend? The one who told me I wasn't leadership material? After he learned I led a few international levels projects at work, an annual district conference in my public speaking clubs, District 102, he said to me, I was wrong about you. You are a leader. And I smiled, not because I needed his validations, but because deep down I knew I always was. I just stopped believing it for a while. If hearing my story makes a part of you wants to scream, "That's me!" then every silent moment I endure was worth it. Thank you.